one day somebody's going to have to say enough.
I wanted to say hello, and I was so happy to be part of such an historic event in the passage of the nullification of the indefinite detention provision of the National Defense Authorization Act. What was so wonderful about tonight was the cross-section of activist groups that showed up to support and to speak. Ideology was put aside for the common liberty goal to protect the First, the Fifth, the Sixth, the 14th Amendments of the Constitution. The City of Albany and the Common Council, and particularly the sponsors of the bill led by Mr. Conniff, should be commended not only for their work and what they did this evening, but as a shining light as to what needs to be done in the future by other government bodies. Thank you.
Indefinite detention under the NDAA. Due process was such a universal notion that folks as divergent as the Albany Tea Party and Occupy Albany joined with me to lobby our state. However, when I heard Councilman Conniff was bringing forth this resolution, I initially felt it wasn't the business of the council. Like others, I felt the council had more pressing issues regarding daily life in Albany. However, I realized that any government body could at any time make the same argument. The recession could be considered more pressing matters than marriage equality. The Vietnam War could have been considered more urgent than civil rights. We have to make time for both immediate and big picture matters. It was also from walking the halls of the Capitol that I changed my mind. I now see how difficult it is to access our government at the state level and know it's federal. And I realize that our only chance is to start local and move forward from there. I come before the council and ask that you take a stand against indefinite detention in the NDAA, simply because I have the opportunity to do so in a way that I know higher levels of government. Some may say that we shouldn't tell our law enforcement officers what to do. Last time I checked, that's what a democratic government did. The police have sworn to enforce the laws that we, the people, who are elected officials, designate. Now, I've never walked in the shoes of a cop, but as a nephew of two late NYPD officers, I know well enough how hard a job it is. It's hard because you have to do it with one hand tied behind your back. I'm sure it's much easier to be a cop in a place like China or Russia, where you have carte blanche to get the job done. Where our founding fathers found our police officers with something called due process for the sake of the greater good. Somehow this restriction never gave either of my uncles any hesitation swearing on the Constitution when they accepted their badges. And they knew their whole careers that if they denied a suspect their Miranda rights, failed to obtain a warrant, or a jury of the suspect's peers found them not guilty, all their hard work could be for naught. Somehow this didn't diminish their devotion and their work to protecting the American people. And I don't imagine it in any way lessens the calling of the fine men and women of the Albany Police Department either. If anything, I trust that they know, perhaps better than many of us, how precious our system of justice is. As a child, I was taught the darker periods of history, but I was given the impression that incidents like the detention of Japanese Americans was something we had put behind us and moved on. That we're now better than that. Now some want us to return to that embarrassing past. In conclusion, all that I ask of the council is that you use your limited jurisdiction to declare the city of Albany will stand and defend American principles. These are rights that our forefathers swore to be inalienable. When these are bent or disregarded, I believe it is incumbent on every public servant, big or small, to defend them. And it's my wish to go back to the Capitol with the support and momentum of this council and my city behind me, and attempt to get New York State to do the same. Thank you for your time. And if I could I present the council with you? Yeah.
My name is Robert Rodrigo, the National Defense Coordinator for People Against the NDAA. I'm in New York, born and bred. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I flew up to say thank you for believe it's important that this vote happens and for your support of that issue. I was going to prepare a speech, and it was so important for me to come up here and talk to you guys for myself and for the organization. And I was on my way to the airport, and I realized, I had a thought about the civil rights movement. Driving through the city of Atlanta, I often think of Dr. King. And as everybody's aware, in the 60s in the civil rights movement, people who were heading such an important aspect of our society were considered malcontents, terrorists, and had very nasty titles put on them by members of our government. And I got to thinking about that in relationship to my thoughts about this resolution and about the indefinite detention provisions of the National Defense Authorization Act, and how easy it is for people to put labels on persons to persecute them, and in this case, to indefinitely detain them. When our president signed it into law, he offered a signing statement saying that he would never use this in our country. And I appreciated that statement. Unfortunately, he will not be the only president that we have forever. We don't know what the next one will do. We certainly don't know how this law is going to shake out because of its vagueness. So, to nullify it, to advance this resolution on is so important for every jurisdiction because it shines a light on something that is, in my view, one of the grossest injustices to civil rights that has happened in a long time, because they basically threw the First Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, and the 14th Amendment under the bus in a way that is rarely seen. So again, I congratulate this council. I'm so happy that you're doing it, and I appreciate the time. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Jesse Calhoun. I reside at 604 Providence Street. Honorable members of the County Council, I want to thank you for honoring your oath to preserve the Constitution. Today, you are standing up for the right to privacy and due process. Many of you are co-sponsors, and for this, I thank you as well. A huge thank you to PANDA, Anton Konev, Project Salam, Bill of Rights Defense Committee, and also everybody that came out from all over. If you're in support, would you mind just standing up and raising your hand? Or... Thank you. We are journalists, we are activists, we are peaceful American citizens and residents of Albany, New York. We are teachers, students, we are from every color and creed. We are musicians, we are organizers, and we are citizens. And we urge you to support this resolution against indefinite detention. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
I'm John Sarek. I'm the board of the University of Liberties, and on behalf of the NYCLU, I'm presenting this testimony in support of Albany County Council Resolution 80.91.13R, which opposes indefinite detention without trial and mandatory military detention of people captured far from any battlefield, and urges the repeal of Section 1021 and 1022 of the 2012 National Defense Authorization Act, which purports to authorize such detention. As a New York State affiliate of the American Civil Liberties Union, the NYCLU's mission is to defend and uphold the principles embodied in the Bill of Rights of the U.S. Constitution and the Constitution of the State of New York. The Fifth Amendment right to due process and the Sixth Amendment right to trial are cornerstones of our democracy. The NDAA, however, contravenes these principles by codifying indefinite military detention without charge or trial into law for the first time in American history. As a result, the President, as well as all future presidents, could claim authority to order the military to indefinitely imprison civilians captured far from any battlefield without any charge or trial, while any president's claim of domestic military detention authority under the NDAA would be unconstitutional and illegal. There is a substantial public debate and uncertainty on whether the section is 1021 and 1022 of the NDAA could be read even to repeal the posse comitatus and authorize indefinite military detention without charge or trial in the United States, including city laws. By opposing sections 1021 and 1022 of the NDAA, this resolution in this passage that Albany City, the city of Albany, is a community dedicated to upholding justice and fairness. The sweeping detention power authorized in the NDAA is completely at odds with our American values. It violates the Constitution. It corrodes our city's commitment to the rule of law. Because the passage of this resolution will send a clear message to Congress that Albany County supports repealing the indefinite detention and mandatory military provisions of the 2012 NDAA. The NYCLU Defamation Chapter wholeheartedly supports resolution 80.91.13R put forth by the Common Council and we urge its passage.
Good evening. My name is Robert Porter. I reside at 564 Park Avenue here in the city of Albany. I'm here in support of Resolution 8092.13R. My father was fortunate to survive the Nazi occupation of Denmark, where laws like this indefinite detention were used, and my mother was fortunate to survive the Japanese occupation of the Philippine Islands during World War II. I served in the United States Marine Corps in Iraq in 2007, where I worked with the Iraqi police. The Iraqi judicial system is not like the American. Over there, just word of mouth, hearsay, was enough for the Iraqi police to go out in the middle of the night in support of the U.S. military, knock down the person's door, drag that person out, and disappear them. They might show up out of Rob or someplace else. There was no courts, no judges, no lawyers, no nothing. And this is what we supported over there. And I never thought that our U.S. military would be asked to do that in the United States. As a law enforcement officer in the Marine Corps, I understood that the Posse Comitatus Act prevented the U.S. military from being used in the United States in this fashion. And this action changes that. It allows them to be used, superseding New York State Police and the Albany Police Department. So thank you, Tom, for proposing this legislation. Thank you.
Thank you, Council, for taking time to start the comments. I'll try to keep mine brief. I'm here representing Upper Hudson Peace Island, which is a group of community organizations throughout the capital region, but it's headquartered here in Albany, and we're endorsing the resolution against the NDAA. Now, not everyone in this meeting is here to endorse that resolution, but I don't think you'll find anyone who will say, gee, I really want my constitutional rights to be optional. It bothers me that the City Council is affirming my rights under the Bill of Rights. The resolution is entirely positive. It costs the city nothing. There's every reason to vote for it and no reason to vote against it. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Steve Devils. I am a founding member of Project Salam and the Executive Director of the National Coalition to Protect Civil Freedoms. And I'm here to speak on behalf of the resolution supporting the NDAA, to oppose the NDAA. This particular resolution is very important to the organizations that I'm involved with and the political prisoners that we support. The concept of the NDAA codifies the concept of a universal battlefield all over the world, including the United States and including Albany. And this is a very dangerous concept. It allows the military access to domestic civilian areas and to take people that they think are dangerous and lock them up indefinitely, including American citizens, without charges. It's something simply unprecedented in American history. And it's a dangerous fiction because Albany is not a battlefield. The United States itself is not a battlefield. We have enough civilian laws and law enforcement to handle any problems in this country. And all this does is to open the door to allow the military to come in and have jurisdiction in our area, to be able to supersede the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And this this is wrong. We have had an experiment in this country for some time on indefinite detention. It is called Guantanamo. We know what Guantanamo is like. It is horrible. It has destroyed the reputation of this country. We need to close it as soon as possible. The last thing we need to do is to create more Guantanamos. And finally, I would just mention that the NDAA indefinite provisions and detention provisions have been held unconstitutional in Hedges against Holder. Catherine Forrest wrote a very persuasive decision, 100 pages long, explaining why this very bad law is unconstitutional. It was reversed by a higher court on the grounds of standing, but no one has yet challenged her analysis of the law. And so I really hope that all of you can support this resolution. It's very important to a lot of people, including people living here in Albany. Thank you.
Albany County Legislator, 7th District, City of Albany. I just want to bring your attention real quick to the proclamation that was signed by a majority of Albany County legislators. The proclamation is titled differently from what the current resolution is here. It's titled, the Albany County Legislature to restore the right to trial and due process. And we did get a majority of signatures on this proclamation. As you know, or should know anyway, we're not allowed to submit resolutions in the county. That privilege was taken away in about 2008 when we had an argument over the resolution on the Iraq War. We're trying to change that procedure now in the county, and I'm very hopeful that it will be changed. But not to denigrate the meaning of a proclamation is very important, because I've seen it done recently on the email, and I don't think you should, because when instead of voting on this, you sign on to it. And when a majority of the Albany County legislature signs on to it, that's the only way it can express its will. And it's expressing its will in this proclamation. And we did tell the sheriff a couple of things in Albany County, Sheriff Albany. And it was simply to work in accordance with local law and in cooperation. All federal agencies should work in accordance with local law and in cooperation with the county sheriff's department by allowing any detainees among the county residents or visitors access to counsel, a trial, and due process as provided by Article 3 of the Constitution of the United States. And we requested our senators and our Congress people to monitor the NDAA, and we sent it out to all county agencies. The reason there's only 22 signatures on this proclamation is because at the meeting that was sent around, a subsequent meeting was also held where some of the Republicans decided to sign on, and their name is anonymous. So if the correct amount of signatures is actually 25 out of the 39 county legislators that signed on, it's a clear majority. Even one Tea Party person in the county legislature signed on to this proclamation. I think it's very important. I appreciate this being brought to the county, to the city. It was definitely brought to the county, well received by the sheriff's office, and I urge you to pass the resolution as worded by Anne.
Good evening. My name is John Amadon. I live at 25 Melrose Avenue. I'm in Ward 13. I'm here to support resolution number 80.92.13. I am a veteran of the United States Marine Corps. I've served in the time of war from 1965 to 1969. I am the president of the Albany chapter of Veterans for Peace. I serve on the board of the Legal Alliance in New York State here also. I support this resolution because the suspension of habeas corpus, indefinite detention is wrong. It is disrespectful of my service. Like yourselves, I swore an oath to support the Constitution of the United States. I am obliged to continue supporting that oath as a responsible citizen in the city of our fair city of Albany. My work has been as a peace and justice advocate. I have traveled to the Middle East on numerous occasions. I have met personally with President Assad of Syria, the First Lady of Syria, Assad. In Damascus, I met with representatives of Hamas. I have, in Beirut, met with representatives of Hezbollah. The reason I've done this is to promote peace. With the laws as they currently stand, I could be charged with material support of terrorism and indefinitely disappeared by my government. I strongly object. I've worked hard to create an environment of peace which is respectful of human rights. When speaking with President Assad, I brought the UN Declaration of Human Rights. We are signatories to that treaty. That also supports the right of all citizens of the world to have the right to appear before a judge, have a trial, a fair trial. I am deeply concerned about the conduct of the federal government. I've seen in our own city here how abusive federal power can be, particularly in the Hussein arrest trial. And I want to commend the Common Council for a resolution they supported and passed in support of the Hussein trial and case. That was a proud moment in this council's history. With that particular resolution in mind, I know you have it in you to support the Constitution of the United States, and I might add that the New York State Constitution has similar provisions for habeas corpus. Our right to have a fair trial, legal counsel appear before the judge, and not be disappeared by our own government. We have taken some terrible steps. We have assassinated American citizens without due process. And it is wrong. It is an affront to every man and woman who has served in the United States military. I urge you to support this resolution and make us proud citizens of our fair city. And I'd like to end with a quote from Abraham Lincoln. We, the people, are the rightful masters of both Congress and the courts. Not to overthrow the Constitution, but to overthrow the men who pervert the Constitution. Our present government has perverted the Constitution by passing this law. They are not fit to represent us. We need you to stand up as a body, as a corporate body of the city, and speak loudly in strong support of our precious Constitution. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your comment.
Mr. Tony.
Madam President, I notice resolution 80-9213R and ask for a roll call. As amended, yes.
A resolution opposing the indefinite military detention without trial of any persons, including U.S. citizens.
During discussion?
Madam President, just very quickly, I wanted to thank everyone who came today, and also thank my colleagues, Councilman O'Brien and Councilman Kansi, who worked very hard to make this workable and grammatically correct resolution. Thank you.
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Castellano? Mr. Kessa?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Fahey? Ms. Dolby?
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Mr. Ringo? Mr. Cornell?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Roseway?
Yes.
Mr. Salmon?
Yes.
11 in affirmative.
Resolution passes.